Lord, I'm so glad you've taken the time to join me for Parent Talk. Just a few moments to encourage you. And I want to talk especially to those of you who find yourselves homeschooling your children. I want to encourage you during this season. Now, I'm not talking from a hypothetical point of view. I understand what it's like to homeschool your kids. Doing it right now, and it's an adventure, to say the least. Now, you may have been under some misconceptions like I was. I don't know what I was thinking about. I thought, you put them in front of the computer and you check on them every now and then and, everything will work out fine. And then it dawned on me that they're used to an adult who's dedicated to their profession most of the time, in the room with him the entire time they're in school. So they're not used to their teacher floating in and out of the room. They're used to someone having their attention, and we were mistaken if we thought that the laptop was going to replace the human being. As a matter of fact, what I'm finding out is something we found out just in social media ministry. The more high tech that's required, the more high touch is required. So I had to rethink what I was doing. Dress for school like they're going to a building. Book bags prepared. Snacks prepared for their lunches, and lunch prepared for their lunch breaks. Activities to think about during their recess times. Purposely getting them away from the screen so they don't become kind of just start drowning in the screen time. Thinking about now that they're on the screen 8 hours a day, they don't get private screen time until the weekend, and that's only an hour a day. Because now they're on the screen, watching those racing images. 7 hours? So we've got to make the experience at home as close to the experience they have in school. I've also found there are some lessons that lend themselves to headsets and some lessons that don't. Now, when the headset on, your child is the only one that knows what's going on in the classroom. So even then, have to float around, look at the screen, and then if something you don't understand is happening, ask the question. Get the teacher's response. Ask your child. The best way, I think, is with the headphones off so you can hear what's going on the entire time. Also hear your child's interaction. But when there's a focus issue, when you maybe have another child in proximity, those headsets do help them to focus on the teacher and what's happening. Now, the other reason you've got to pay close attention when they're on the screens is, they've got that classroom thing going. And invariably, like it was when we were in school, there is a class clown on the virtual school screen. There is a class clown there. And that class clown is sending messages and making distracting noises and moving around in the back because their mother and father are not in the room. They were under the misconception that I was, just set them in front of the screen and leave them sitting there. No. So I had to change my whole concept of what this virtual learning was all about. It takes a lot of attention, takes vigilance. Like in the situation my grandkids are in, the teacher's moving so fast, quiet as it's kept, I have a hard time keeping up with it sometimes. So you've got to be there, when the issue arises so that you can kind of correct or encourage. And when the breaks come, if the child has missed something, the first 10 minutes of the break or the last 15 minutes of the break, if the break is 30 minutes long, then there's got to be 10 minutes where we're catching up on what we weren't able to complete. Because you don't want that assignment piling up at the end of the day. Getting them there on time so they can sit down, settle when the teacher begins, extremely important. Dressing them for school, getting them in the mindset of school, extremely important. Now, some days you'll have difficulty emotionally because you're rebelling against, watch how I say this, the privilege, inconvenience, I got a book coming out with that title, so don't steal the title. The privilege and convenience of having to school your own children. Because not only have they gotten used to someone being in front of them 8 hours a day, 7 hours a day, but we've gotten used to someone taking them off our hands 7, 8 hours a day. We might as well be real about it now. So this for many of us is like something totally new, totally uncharted territory, causing a shift in schedule. If you're working from home, causing a shift in what you can do and what you can't do, causing the beginning of your work day to sometime begin after school has been dismissed. But I want to encourage you. This season has come along because you are absolutely equipped to handle it. You are absolutely equipped to handle it. Every breakthrough you're going to have will be preceded by prayer that you release to God. Every stride you make as you get, watch this, as your system, as your flow becomes more predictable for the child. Watch this, because your predictability is going to produce security in the child that you are educating. So the more your flow is established, and the more that flow is seen as productive, the more you stay calm and keep yourself really focused and tone of voice as you're encouraging and correcting, you'll watch this chapter in your life produce the kind of fruit that you hope it would. So I want to encourage you. Make the adjustment. It's a non-negotiable. Do what you have to do as well as you have to do, but do it prayerfully. Do it being led by the Lord. Doing with the patience that God has had for us as we matriculated through the grades of life. And watch God bring this season, which is not so much difficult, but inconvenient. Watch God begin to really do a work through you in them. I'm glad you joined me today for Parent Talk.